Corey, Mr. Stover, aka C Stove, on YouTube, had put out a post on a forum that both Tyler and I on Cook Game Central were asking what everyone thought, because apparently it's getting mixed reviews. Like, it's kind of a love-hate type of thing. And Corey, if you're listening / watching, had asked me, what I thought about it, and I'm like, well, bro, we're going to talk about this on the podcast. So if I tell you on Facebook, you'd have no reason to watch it. So, Corey, I hope you're listening, hope you're watching, buddy. Man of my word here, we're going to cover this shit. Okay, so as far as what I thought about it, all right. I think a lot of people hating on this is just my 2 cents, were expecting The Walking Dead walking into this, and even though the name The Walking Dead is right there in the title. I don't think they really had any illusions about what this show was really about. I mean, basically, this is about the very beginning of the zombie apocalypse, like how this would actually unfold in real life. And from that angle, the way they covered it, I felt was very, very smart. Because we'll try to keep this as spoiler-free as we can, guys. It basically starts out just kind of rumor, word of mouth, people seeing videos on YouTube and shit like that. And given the age that we live in here, it's pretty plausible that actually that's the way it would begin. It would just kind of spread like a viral video, so to speak. People seeing incidents pop up in, Georgia, then Texas, then Virginia, then Maine, and stuff like that, and somebody putting the piece together like, I'm starting to see a pattern here, something definitely is up. To be perfectly honest, the first hour is a very slow burn. It takes a little while for this show to get going, which I kind of knew it would. I didn't expect you to just kick you in the pool on this one. I figured there's going to be a lot of setup, but there is going to be a payoff. It's a 90-minute pilot. The last 30 minutes, they kick things up to a different gear, and things start moving along a little bit more. I'm trying to give you guys as much information as I can without giving you spoilers, but I mean, shit, you don't even really see your first zombie until it's at least an hour in, right?
Really, it's right at the end, so I'd say probably an hour and 20 minutes in.
Yeah, I mean, it's really close to the end.
Yeah, I guess maybe hour 15 or so.
It's definitely not in the first hour. I mean, you do see one at the very beginning, very briefly, but I mean, as far as for more than a 10-second kind of little jump scare kind of thing, where it really sinks in, it really takes a little while before you actually see what goes down. And based upon the stuff that they showed, at the end of the pilot of, coming up this season on Fear the Walking Dead, it definitely looks like things are going to get moving pretty quickly. Like, this thing is going to get out of hand really fast. Probably within the first 3 or 4 episodes, like, the shit's going to hit the fan. Which is, really how something like that would work. And, I mean, we all know how this is going to end, boys and girls. I mean, it's going to end with the world that Rick Grimes wakes up in, where everything has gone to shit. So we know that, the armed forces and whatnot, mounting the offense against this thing are going to lose. I mean, that's the only logical outcome, since this takes place in the same world as Rick Grimes, just different coast. But overall, was it perfect? No, because you got big shoes to fill. I mean, The Walking Dead pilot, one of the best pilots in history, where they just crushed it, from the very beginning. This is definitely its own animal, so if you're expecting basically a repeat of The Walking Dead, guys, you're going to be disappointed. It's not a repeat of The Walking Dead. It is its own television show following its own storyline with its own characters, and it's a very different animal. It still has that same flavor of The Walking Dead, where it's very obvious that things take place in that same universe, but at the same time, it's about the build-up. It's about the slow burn. We want to see a little bit of the story and how this thing actually comes about. But that is my 2 cents. Tyler, you watched it. What do you think, dude?
I definitely think like the first hour was slow.
Yeah.
Slower than I think it had to be, but I mean, I can see them wanting to start off things slow, because I think the rest of the season is going to be super fast paced.
Yeah.
2 quick things. My girlfriend was just like completely turned off from the beginning. She's like, to hell with this, I'm not watching this till I see some zombies. So I made her sit down and watch the rest of it, but she was, I think, liking the very end of it, when there was actually some action happening on the show. Yeah. Without spoiling anything. My second point is I don't know what it is, but I do not like the sun.
I don't either.
And
there's something weird about him. He's being compared to a young Johnny Depp and shit. I'm like,
he looks,
okay.
and my girlfriend pointed it out, and there's a certain scene where he like looks over, he looks exactly like Johnny Depp in that scene, and she said it, and I was thinking it, I was like right about to say it, and she said it first, and I heard somebody else say that today, but I mean, regardless if he looks like Johnny Depp, it's not that, it's just his acting. I mean, he plays a drug addict, and I don't think I'm giving away any huge spoilers here, but I see this, like, so many episodes, like, centered around his addiction when the outbreak happens, and how he's going to slow the group down, or he's going to find some drugs, or he's going to start, his DTs coming off the
Tyler's
stuff.
got all this shit figured out already, man. Holy shit.
And like, I mean, we've already seen some of that in Walking Dead, like with the dude, I guess it was in season 3.
The
alcoholic guy. And I mean, it's just like, it's just something else. Like, they took out one thing and they replaced it with another thing. And to me, that's his character. I think it's eventually, going to catch up with him. But I don't know, just something about it, and some of the way he's acting. Like, he walks around like Kramer throughout, like, most
He kind of does, actually. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and, like, I don't know. Just something about it. The acting or something. I don't know. That kind of turned me off, but hopefully, we'll see some changes in the characters and stuff later in the season. But, like, I like the mom. I like the dad. We don't really know too much about the daughter. I'm assuming that's just going to be the core, initially. And then we'll have more people, to join the group later on in the series. But looks like it, they did a preview, like Jimbo was saying, of the rest of the season. And it definitely looks like it's, like, ratcheted up the rest of the season. So,
I think so.
As soon as the outbreak really
I'm
starts.
going to check it out.
Yeah.
Will you go on record and say you're definitely in, you want to see how it turns out?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge fan of The Walking Dead, so I mean, unless they do something just like crazy, to throw me off, I'm in for it. One thing that I wish they would have done was show this maybe during the summer when TV was so slow.
Yeah.
And they're going to be running basically both series side by side, and I hope people don't get fatigued from it, and that's kind of what I was afraid of happening when you have two of the same property running at one time. Like, sometimes you get fatigued of a franchise,
No, I